Go into your attic or the back of a closet, and chances are you'll find it. A shoebox, tied with a string, or maybe a dusty old photo album. Inside are dozens of old postcards. You see the faded, elegant handwriting from a great-aunt you never met. The 1-cent stamps and the quaint pictures of Niagara Falls or the Grand Canyon from a century ago. Your first thought is almost certainly, this is a sweet, sentimental collection of old paper, but it's worthless. You might flip through them with a smile and then put the box right back into the darkness. But before you do, you need to understand what you might be looking at. What if one of those postcards is a rare, one-of-a-kind photograph of a Wild West town, taken just moments after a historic event? What if another is a spooky, intricate Halloween card from 1910 that collectors would pay hundreds of dollars for? What if that 1-cent piece of paper is now a valuable historical document worth a small fortune? Today on Treasure Hunters, we're mailing ourselves back in time to explore the beautiful, historic, and surprisingly valuable world of deltiology, the official name for collecting postcards. Because they were so common and so cheap, most people today assume they have little to no value. And while it's true that the vast majority of common view cards are worth only $1 or $2, a select fraction of them are rare, important, and highly sought after. These cards are miniature time capsules, preserving images of towns that have vanished, social events that have been forgotten, and artwork from a golden age of illustration. A dedicated community of deltiologists, or postcard collectors, is actively hunting for these rare gems. They understand the secret language of these cards, the printing methods, the postmarks, the artists, and the subjects that elevate a simple piece of cardstock into a historical artifact. Today, we're going to teach you that language. We'll show you what makes a postcard valuable, explore the Holy Grail finds, and give you a step-by-step guide to discovering if that old shoebox is actually a treasure chest. So, you found a stack of old postcards. How do you sort the treasure from the trash? The value of a postcard is determined by a fascinating combination of its type, its subject, its artist, and its condition. First, and this is the most important distinction you can learn, is the type of postcard. There are two main categories. The most valuable by far is the real photo postcard, or RPPC. These are not printed images. They're actual photographs, developed onto photographic paper with a postcard back. They are, in essence, one-of-a-kind snapshots of real life, captured by amateur or professional photographers. An RPPC could show a family standing in front of their sod house in Nebraska, the main street of a small mining town, a local baseball team, or a train wreck that happened that morning. Because they are unique photos, they are primary historical documents, and their value can be immense. You can often identify an RPPC because the image is sharp and has a continuous tone, unlike the pattern of a printed card. The back often has a stamp box with a brand name like a Zio, Velox, or Kodak, which helps to date the card. The other category is the common lithographic postcard. These were printed in large quantities. Their value depends almost entirely on the subject matter and the artist. This brings us to our second point, the subject matter. What is on the front of the card? This is a huge driver of value. Main streets of small towns are very collectible, especially RPPCs that show specific identifiable businesses, early automobiles, or people from that town. Holidays are a massive category, and the undisputed king is Halloween. Postcards from the Golden Age from about 1905 to 1915, with images of witches, black cats, jack-o'-lanterns, and spooky vegetable people, are incredibly sought after. A single rare Halloween postcard can be worth hundreds, and sometimes thousands of dollars. Christmas is also popular, especially cards featuring a specific type of elegant Santa Claus, or those designed by a famous artist. Social history is another key area. Postcards that document political events like women's suffrage parades, social movements, disasters like the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, or early technology like aviation, zeppelins, and automobiles are highly prized by historians and collectors. Third is the artist. If you're printed lithographic cards, the artist's signature can turn a common card into a valuable one. The most famous American postcard artist was Ellen Clapsaddle. Her charming illustrations of children, especially for holidays, are beloved. Other artists like Francis Brundage and Samuel Schmucker are also highly collected. And on the international stage, cards designed by the master of Art Nouveau, Alphonse Mucha, are considered fine art and are incredibly valuable. Finally, you have the postmark and condition. A rare postmark from a ghost town post office that only existed for a few years can add value. The condition is also important. Are the corners sharp? Is the card free of creases and stains? A mint unused card is ideal, but a postally used card in great condition can be just as valuable if the subject or artist is rare. Now, let's look at some of the legends. These are the types of postcards that collectors dream of finding, the true holy grails of deltiology. Grail number 1. Real photo postcards of major historical figures or events. Imagine finding a real photograph on a postcard back, showing something truly historic. While the chances are astronomically slim, a genuine, previously unknown photo of a figure like the outlaw Jesse James or President Lincoln would be a six-figure discovery. But more realistic Grail RPPCs include photos of early pre-fame, baseball players in their small-town uniforms, an image of the Wright brothers during one of their early flights, or a clear, identifiable street scene from a famous Wild West town like Deadwood or Tombstone. These one-of-a-kind images are priceless historical records. Grail number 2. Rare and unusual Halloween postcards. The passion for antique Halloween collectibles is intense. The most valuable postcards are those made in Germany in the early 1900s, which were known for their superior printing quality and intricate embossing. Collectors go crazy for cards with specific weird imagery. Witches riding in airplanes or cars, children dressed in creepy costumes, or anthropomorphic jack-o'-lanterns getting into mischief. Grail number 3. Titanic postcards. The story of the Titanic has fascinated the world for over a century. Any ephemera related to the ship is valuable. While many postcards of the Titanic were printed after it sank, the true holy grails are the ones that were written and mailed from the ship itself during its maiden voyage. These cards, bearing a postmark from the Titanic, are exceptionally rare. Only a handful are known to exist, and they sell for tens of thousands of dollars whenever they come to auction. Even a common postcard of the Titanic is more valuable if it has a postmark from April 1912, right around the time of the disaster. Grail number 4. Signed artist postcards. As mentioned, artists like Alphonse Mucha created series of postcards that are considered masterpieces of the Art Nouveau style. His series on the seasons or the flowers are stunning. While a standard printed postcard from one of these sets is valuable, a card that was personally signed by Mucha himself transforms from a collectible into a unique piece of signed art, dramatically increasing its value. Okay, a postcard mailed from the Titanic is a long shot. But your shoebox is likely filled with other, more common types of postcards that are still very collectible and can be worth real money. A great area to look for is World's Fair postcards. Major American events like the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair, the 1909 Alaska Comp-Pacific Exposition in Seattle, or the 1939 New York World's Fair generated millions of beautiful and interesting postcards. Complete sets or rare views from these fairs are highly collectible. Also look for early national park postcards. Cards from the linen era, which have a textured linen-like feel, often feature beautiful, artistic views of national parks like Yosemite, Yellowstone, or the Grand Canyon before they were mobbed with tourists. Don't overlook the classic large-letter greetings, Vroom, postcards. These are the iconic cards where each giant letter of a city or state's name is filled with a tiny image. The early linen era versions of these cards are very popular, and collectors often try to assemble a complete set of all 50 states. Finally, look for local history. A real photo postcard of the main street of your small hometown from 1910 might not be valuable to a general collector, but to a local historian, someone from that town. It could be a priceless and desirable piece of history. You've got a postcard that looks interesting. How do you investigate it? Step 1. Identify the type. This is your first sort. Is it a real photo postcard or a printed lithograph? Take out a magnifying glass. Look at the image. If it's made up of thousands of tiny colored dots, it's a lithograph. If it has a continuous, smooth tone, just like a regular black and white photograph, shows sharp real-world detail, it's an RPPC. This is the most important distinction you can make. Step 2. Check the back. The back of the postcard is a treasure map for dating it. If there is no line down the middle and the back is for the address only. It is an undivided back and was made before 1907. If it has a line down the middle, with a space for a message on the left and the address on the right, it is a divided back, dating it to 1907 or later. Also, look for the publisher's name and any series numbers, as this can help you research it. Step 3. Research the subject and artist. Use your phone's search engine. Type in the artist's name if you see one. For an RPPC, type in the name of the town and any business names you can read on the signs in the photograph. You can often uncover the exact location and date the photo was taken. Step 4. Use online resources and price guides. The absolute best way to determine value is to check the sold listings on eBay. This will show you what people are actually paying for similar cards right now. Search for very specific terms like RPPC Trainwreck Iowa or Halloween Postcard Witch Jaw. Websites for collector clubs like the San Francisco Bay Area Postcard Club also have great identification guides. A postcard is a miniature time capsule. It's a snapshot of history, art, and personal connection, all captured on a humble piece of 3 by 5 inch cardstock. They show us what our towns looked like, what our ancestors cared about, and how they communicated in a world that moved at a much slower pace. So, the next time you come across that old shoebox or album, don't just see it as a pile of sentimental paper. See it for what it is, a library of miniature treasures. Look through them carefully, identify them. You might be holding a beautiful and very valuable piece of the American story. If you enjoyed this look into the world of deltiology, please hit that like button, subscribe,